The pleasure you're chasing is actually keeping you trapped. Carl Jung discovered something that will fundamentally alter how you view every desire, every craving, every moment of seeking satisfaction. Most of what you call pleasure is actually avoidance disguised as fulfillment. You're not pursuing joy. You're running from parts of yourself you refuse to face. Jung realized that the modern obsession with pleasure is a form of spiritual bypassing, a way of numbing ourselves to the deeper currents of existence. Every time you reach for immediate gratification, whether it's food, sex, entertainment, shopping, or any other form of stimulation, you're essentially saying no to the present moment and yes to escape. But here's what most people never understand. True pleasure can only be experienced by someone who doesn't need it. The moment you become dependent on external sources of satisfaction, you've lost the capacity for genuine enjoyment. You've become an addict to your own avoidance patterns, mistaking temporary relief for authentic fulfillment. Jung called this the pleasure principle, the unconscious drive to seek immediate gratification and avoid discomfort. But he discovered that living according to this principle actually creates more suffering than it prevents. When you constantly seek pleasure to avoid pain, you never develop the psychological strength needed to handle life's inevitable difficulties. Think about your own relationship with pleasure. How much of what you enjoy is actually about enjoying itself, and how much is about escaping something else? That glass of wine after work, is it celebration or medication? That endless scroll through social media, is it connection or avoidance? That compulsive shopping, eating, or sexual behavior, is it fulfillment or numbing? Jung understood that beneath every compulsive pleasure-seeking behavior lies an unmet psychological need. You're not actually hungry for food. You're hungry for nourishment that food cannot provide. You're not actually craving sex. You're craving intimacy that physical pleasure alone cannot deliver. You're not actually seeking entertainment. You're seeking meaning that distraction cannot supply. The most profound insight Jung offered is this: the very pain you're trying to avoid through pleasure-seeking contains the exact medicine your soul needs. Every uncomfortable emotion, every difficult experience, every moment of boredom or emptiness is trying to teach you something essential about yourself. But when you immediately reach for pleasure to escape these feelings, you miss the message entirely. True pleasure emerges from presence, not from escape. When you're fully engaged with reality as it is, including its uncomfortable aspects, you develop the capacity for what Jung called authentic joy. This isn't the desperate high of addiction. It's the deep satisfaction that comes from being genuinely alive to your experience. Jung discovered that the people who experienced the deepest pleasure were those who had also learned to sit with the deepest pain. They had developed what he called psychological holding capacity, the ability to contain intense experiences without immediately seeking relief. This capacity transforms everything, including your relationship to enjoyment. When you no longer need pleasure to escape pain, pleasure becomes pure. Food tastes better when you're not eating to fill an emotional void. Relationships become more intimate when you're not using them to avoid loneliness. Work becomes more fulfilling when you're not seeking constant entertainment to escape boredom. The paradox Jung revealed is that the less you chase pleasure, the more pleasure you actually experience. The less you need external sources of satisfaction, the more satisfied you become. The less you use enjoyment as medication, the more genuine enjoyment becomes available to you. Stop medicating your existence with pleasure and start inhabiting it fully. The joy you're seeking through avoidance is waiting for you in the very experiences you're trying to escape.